Alright lads, welcome back to my YouTube channel again, and today's another predictions video and predictions review like the playoff one I did last week, but this includes the FA Cup final predictions, as obviously it's just a big game in the football calendar year in England, and this year is between Chelsea and Arsenal, and obviously the playoffs semi-finals have just happened. We already know who's going to Wembley. You probably already know that yourselves, but I'll just clarify for you and give my thoughts on if they deserve to reach Wembley, which I do think both teams that did deserve to reach the playoff final, as they have probably been the two strongest teams, bar Leeds and West Brom. But yeah, obviously I'll be reviewing the second legs of the playoffs, going on to my prediction of the playoff final, and then I'll be moving on to the FA Cup final, a bit different as... Obviously, yeah, as I said, it's just a massive game in the calendar year, and the country comes together to it, really. Obviously, no fans this year, which will be interesting to see. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into reviewing predictions and predicting. First game, obviously, in the playoff review, and as we're reviewing the games first, and it was a huge win for Brentford. So they ended up winning 3-1 at home to Swansea City to book their place at Wembley. Obviously, they didn't know who they'd be playing until the game after Fulham against Cardiff, which we'll get onto next. But yeah, I predicted a 2-0 win for Brentford in this one after extra time. I got the margin between the teams right. I didn't get the result right, obviously, as it finished 3-1 to Brentford. Brentford were just so clinical in this one, and just showed really why they do deserve to be in the playoff final and having a chance to go to Wembley. Ollie Watkins gave them a lead after a swift counter-attack. Cross came in, David Raya jumped up big, caught it, and then rolled it out, and Watkins was sent through on goal. And he calmly tucked it past the Swansea City goalkeeper. Good finish from him. Marcondes then doubled Brentford's lead just 4 minutes later. Cross came in from the left-hand side, and a little flick header into the far corner doubled Brentford's lead to put them 3-1 up, obviously. Ben Rama then hit the post coming inside off the... I just skipped something. Conor Gallagher, I think it is. Yeah, Conor Gallagher. He had a chance for Swansea, a one-on-one. He cut inside off the left wing. He went through one-on-one on goal. But a big left hand from David Raya in the Brentford net managed to tip it around the post to keep the score of 2-0 to Brentford. And as I just said before by accident, Ben Rama then hit the post just before half-time, coming in off the left-hand side is what he loves to do, onto that right foot of his, and he just whipped onto the left-hand post. And into the second half now, and Rico Henry, who got sent off in the first leg unfairly, was overturned. He ended up assisting Brentford's third goal for Brian Mbeumo, or Mbeumo, I don't know how you say it, to be honest. Cross came in from the left-hand side from Henry, and a first-time left-footed volley from Brian Mbeumo into the near post basically sealed the win for Brentford. Swansea did get a goal back through Ryan Brewster in the 78th minute. He capitalised on a mistake from... Pontus Jansson. Ball came over the top. Pontus Jansson tried to back heel flick it away, but he didn't really connect with it, and David Raya had come off his line as well, so Brewster just took his time and just calmly lifted the ball over David Raya. A very neat finish, showing why he's an up and coming youngster, and he looks like to be a really good player. But that goal, it didn't prove to be enough, as Brentford, Swansea, they could not muster the another big chance to get another goal, as Brentford probably deservedly did go to Wembley, as they were the closest out of the playoff teams to get up automatically, and did kind of choke really, as West Brom slipped up in their last two games, but so did they. Well, yeah, anyway, Brentford, they go to Wembley at Swansea's expense, but Brentford do probably deserve this chance to get back into the Premier League, as in their farewell season to Griffin Park. Next game is obviously the game which took place at Craven Cottage between Fulham and Cardiff, the second leg, and surprisingly these two second legs, they almost saw a double turnaround, which is very unusual for playoffs. Obviously, Brentford turned around their first leg deficit, and Cardiff almost did so as well. Against all the odds, obviously they were 2-0 down, but Brentford, they were 1-0 down, so it's a bit easier for them. But Cardiff, yeah, they almost turned it around. It was unlucky. Took the lead through Curtis Nelson in the 8th minute, who rose highest from a corner to nod home a really good header, strong header past Marek Rodak in the Fulham net. It was performed really well. Both goalkeepers did, to be fair, on the night. But then Cardiff, obviously, there's always that thing in football where people say, oh, you're at your weakest when you've just scored, and this proved true with Cardiff, as Neeskens Cabano gave Fulham an equaliser in the 9th minute. Bobby Decadova Reed, I don't know, why did they call him that? I don't know, it's just one thing that annoys me. I just call him Reed. He got too much space, to be honest. Nobody closing him down. Poor defending from Cardiff. Really brought it upon themselves. He had so much time and space to just whip a cross in, and Capano from the back post came in and knocked in his 4th goal in 4 games, or 5th goal in 4 games, something like that. He's on a great scoring streak at the minute and could be a real help if Fulham do get to the Premier League. Well, or in the playoff final anyway. Lee Tomlin then gave Cardiff a second goal inside the first 5 minutes of the second half, which gave them hope after a free kick came in. Mendes Lang with a bullet-headed good save from Rodak, who again showed why he's probably one of the best goalkeepers in this league. But then Hector with a scuff clearance, really, and it just fell for Lee Tomlin. A good finish on the swivel, a hard volley smacking into the near post, a good finish. Camera then hit the post for Fulham, but in the end it turned out to be a wonderful save from Alex Smithies in the Cardiff net, who managed to just stick out a right hand full stretch, tipping it onto the post. Cardiff then probably had the best chance they had to equalise was when they had a chance. The ball was scrambling about in the box. It ended up falling to Will Volks, who smashed a volley in, but Rodak jumping up high and tipping the ball over the bar. That ended up being Cardiff's last chance of the game. But yeah, Fulham do advance onto Wembley, and probably deserved, as they showed their quality in the first leg. Showed quality at points in this second leg. Obviously, they didn't perform as well as they would have liked to, but they did manage to score their spot at Wembley. They've been in the playoff final a few times recently, haven't they? But yeah, they definitely do deserve probably to be in this one. To the biggest game of the championship season. Obviously, my channel is obviously championship based, so probably the biggest game of the season in my opinion. And obviously, it's the playoff final on Tuesday the 4th of August. Kicks off at 7:45 between Brentford and Fulham. Both those teams reaching the playoff final. Obviously, Brentford had to overturn a first leg deficit against Swansea. Lost that 1-0 on foot. Well, David Ray did save a penalty in that game, and Rico Henry got sent off. But obviously that was overturned for the second leg. And then Brentford, obviously, as I just said, they bounced back against Swansea, winning 3-1. A huge win for them, as it takes them to a Wembley final. And I think that win against Swansea was a perfect way to leave Griffin Park. And if they do go up and win this playoff final, then it'll just be perfect for them, really, because they're getting promoted to the Premier League this season. Leave Griffin Park, it'll just be an amazing thing for them, won't it? Oh yeah, obviously I think they're probably gonna have more like they'll do. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, obviously Fulham, they won their first leg 2-0 against Cardiff, but then lost 2-1 last time out. But obviously, yeah, Brentford, they bounced back in their playoff legs, so they might be a bit. I can't think of the word. My brain's not working. Right, think, Dan. Think, right. They bounce back, so they're gonna have. I can't think of the word. Momentum, that's it. I've remembered the word, lads. They're going to have more momentum, obviously, because they bounced back from that first leg deficit, whereas Fulham, they did lose their second leg. But I don't think losing a second leg and going through makes a difference, really, because they don't really care. They're just happy they got the job done and they get to play at Wembley for that chance in the Premier League. But yeah, when they played each other earlier in the season, in the regular season, Brentford did the double over Fulham in the first first game when there was fans. Brentford were at home and they won it 1-0. But in the second leg, it was away from home. Brentford were away from home, and it was at Craven Cottage. And this was actually the first game since football returned after lockdown. But yeah, Brentford won that one 2-0. So I think Brentford, obviously, Wembley does things to the players, obviously. I think it won't be as daunting because there isn't as many fans there. Obviously, I went to Wembley on Wednesday, went there, and we didn't perform like we had been performing all season. A bit daunting, isn't it? Because you got all 90,000 fans or so around you. But I think this, obviously Wembley is a daunting place, but I don't think it'll be more daunting than just playing it like a home game without fans, because obviously it's a bigger stadium. But I don't think it'll be as daunting as it could have been with fans. So yeah, I do think though it will still be a tight game. Obviously, playoff finals, they are usually cagey affairs. So for this one, I think it's going to be a tight game. But I do think Brentford will edge this one as they are determined to get to the Premier League. Obviously, some say they choked their automatic spots. So yeah, for this one, obviously I think it'll be a tight game. I think there'll be one goal in it. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win for Brentford. And I think they will go up along with Leeds and West Brom. On to a unique part of the video, new to my channel, where I'm actually not predicting a championship game for once. Where hey, I'm predicting the FA Cup final, as obviously big date in the calendar year of English football. It's a very important time in the English football calendar. The country comes together, watches the final. We do it every year. My family, we sit down, usually have like tea or something in front of it, and just watch the games. Oh, the final, I mean, not the games. There's not more than one game, is there? Well, yeah. Right, now on to the game. Obviously, it's Arsenal against Chelsea. Arsenal, they finished 8th in the Premier League this year on 56 points. Their worst Premier League finish in 25 years. I'm pretty sure I heard on like TalkSport the other day. Well, yeah. Whereas Chelsea, they secured top 4 on the final day, beat and 4th spot on 66 points, which will be good for them next season. They've got players like Ziyech and Werner who've come in, and there's rumours about Kai Havertz coming in as well. In the FA Cup semi-finals, well, it's just the first game in the last 3. Arsenal, they pulled off a shock win over Man City. I don't think anybody saw that coming, beating them 2-0. Obviously, a very shock result as Arsenal. They did very poorly, and obviously City are just such a strong side and very rarely slip up. Same with Chelsea. I thought this was maybe a shock, but obviously I did think Man U are a better team than Chelsea, but obviously I'm not as surprised as I was when Arsenal beat City that Chelsea beat Man U. I just think Man U, they had an off day on that game as they beat Man U 3-1 and did deservedly reach the final, to be honest. Man U were poor on that game, and Chelsea were clinical enough to beat them. After those FA Cup semi-finals, Arsenal, they went and lost 1-0 to Villa, which is a bit of a shock, to be honest. Villa down in the relegation spots, and Arsenal, obviously, well, Arsenal, they're renowned as a good team, but I don't think they will be for much longer if they keep losing to teams like Villa. And then on the other hand, Chelsea, they also lost, but they lost against Liverpool, who walked the league this year, obviously 5-3. I managed to catch the back end of it because I'd watched the Wednesday game that evening. It was the end of the Championship season. And yeah, I caught the end of that, and it was a good game. Liverpool almost choked it, they were like 4-1 up, and Chelsea brought it back to 4-3, but then Oxlade-Chamberlain made it 5-3 and ended up securing Liverpool's 3 points. Then it came down to the last game of the season. Arsenal had nothing to play for, really, but they were playing Watford, who did have something to play for. Arsenal ended up winning this one 3-2, which saw Watford relegated because Villa, they got a point against West Brom. Whereas Chelsea, they had something to play for. They had to play for top 4. Still hadn't secured it yet. And ended up doing that with a solid 2-0 win over Wolves. With this one, I think Arsenal have got more to play for than Chelsea. But I just think Chelsea are a much stronger side than Arsenal. And I think that'll have an effect. Obviously, Lampard, he'll want to win a trophy in his first season as a Chelsea manager. But I think Arteta, he'll also want to win it. Or who doesn't want to win a trophy, let's be honest. I think he'll have more desire to win it, as it shows the season has some success. Obviously, it was a very poor season, finishing 8th in the Premier League. But yeah, for this one, I think Chelsea are a strong side, and they will be also determined as well as Arsenal. So for this one, I think Chelsea are a stronger side, as I've just said a few times. So I think this one, it'll be a 3-1 win for Chelsea. And if my prediction is correct, or Chelsea do win it, then that means Wolves will go to qualifiers for Europe, and Arsenal won't. But if Arsenal do win it, which is also an extra incentive, if they win it, then they get into qualifying for Europe, which is again another incentive for Mikel Arteta and his Arsenal side. Alright lads, thanks for watching the video. If you liked the video, then please do feel free to like the video and drop a sub if you haven't already. But yeah, without further ado, I'll see you in the next one. Obviously, this is the last predictions video of the season, as there is no more games really after this. There's no Premier League, no Championship. But yeah, I'll be having to find some other content to do. I've got a few videos lined up. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one, lads. See you later.
Hellcat.